Columbia Rotary Club. I'm glad you're here. We're going to start today with the singing of our national anthem, but before we do that, please take a minute and greet those around you.
Join me as we pray. Oh God, thank you for the gift of Rotary and the relationships we have with each other. Guide each of us in developing commitments to offer others service above self. May each of us deepen our understanding of what it means to serve others based upon our gifts, our talents, and passions you have given us. Help each of us to be mindful of moments and opportunities to serve others in the midst of our busy lives. In your name we pray. Amen.
You may be seated. As you're sitting down, let me ask you to put some money in the cart bucket. There's a blue bucket on each table. And every dollar that goes in the blue bucket will be used for Alzheimer's research. So please give generously to CART this week. And to welcome our visitors and guests, let's see, Jimmy Derrick is not here, is he? So let me do that. Welcome, everyone. Great to see all of you. Happy Monday, and hope you're having a great week. Let me take a minute to recognize any visiting Rotarians. Here comes Jimmy. I knew he'd be here. Never a doubt. There was never a doubt.
What last week was going to be no checks. Yeah, I understand. Sorry, I'm walking in the door late. I would blame it on the train, but it wasn't a train there, so I can't blame it on there. We have one visiting Rotarian, DeWitt Zip from Charleston Breakfast Club. Did I say that? Do we have any Rotarians with guests?
Hello, my name is Robert Goins, and I'm pleased to have Adam Whitson here today. Stand up, Adam. Adam is a good friend of mine. We were in law school together. He's general counsel to the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division of SLED. We are very fortunate to have him.
I'm Libby Gober, and I'm delighted to have Bob Lane as my guest today. Bob is with Michael's Cafe and Catering and Agape Center.
Cameron Marshall. Cameron worked for Edmund Mullen and working on the Trump campaign.
name is Tom Persons, and I'm delighted to welcome back an old friend, a member of ours who moved to Greensboro just a year and a half ago, former president of Middle Tech, Sonny White.
I'm Gene Rogers, and I'm pleased to have as my guest Jackie Heard, who is with the Rogers Council Law Firm.
I'm Crutchfield, as I call you, understand. Adam Jordan is a member of our club, has been for quite some time. His lovely wife, Laura. His sister, Teresa. I'm sorry, Allison. His mother, and his dad, Dave, who's a former Rotarian in which club? St. Andrew's Club. Nice to have y'all here.
Okay, that's it.
I do have a guest. My mother is here, Karen Sullivan. She is married to Pat. And she's also a lactation consultant at Palmetto Pediatrics.
Good, thank you, sir.
Good. And my father is coming as well, I believe. So, welcome everyone.
Jimmy.
Jonathan Milling is going to present this week's Health and Happiness Report. Each week, as you all know, we take a minute to highlight our members' accomplishments and share news. So, Jonathan Milling.
Thanks, President Mark. Afternoon, everyone. And I guess let me start off by apologizing for Jimmy being late. He and I were outside conducting an auction, and some of y'all may not have seen it, but John Denise is selling his Infiniti QX80. And, well, we got a really good price for you, John. Unfortunately, after he took his cut and I took my lawyer's cut, it's not quite as much. So we'll settle up with you afterwards. Seriously, ladies and gentlemen, Alicia Connors, where's Alicia? There she is. She was proud to announce that her son, Nick, graduated from the College of Charleston with a degree in English, and he has a job already lined up. He's going to be a and he's pursuing his master's degree as a citizen, so let's congratulate them. Mike Bruce is, I don't know if celebrating is the right word, but today is his last day at Ashland Methodist Church. He's being transferred down to a church in Charleston. And that everybody else with the club is healthy and happy, but I did have a couple other things that I wanted to point out. In the news that is strange, and every day has a significant day, but today is Lucky Penny Day. So feel lucky, feel privileged if you find a penny today. And you may not have heard it today, but Tom Brady has announced that he's going to be requesting an en banc or a full panel hearing of the Second Circuit Court of Appeals of Deflategate that didn't happen in the 2015 season, but rather the 2014 season. So he's been able, through his lawyers, to successfully delay suspension for probably another year. And in honor of that, I thought that a couple legal jokes might be appropriate. What is the difference between a lawyer and a boxing referee? The boxing referee doesn't get paid anymore for a longer fight. Mr. Goins, what's the difference between a good lawyer and a bad lawyer?
I have no idea.
A bad lawyer makes your case drag on for years. A good lawyer makes it last even longer. How many lawyers does it take to screw in a light bulb? 3. One to climb the ladder, one to shake it, and the other one to sue the ladder company. Why won't sharks attack lawyers? There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, if you see a lawyer riding a bicycle when you leave Rotary, don't swerve to hit him. Or know why? It might be your bicycle. Ladies and gentlemen, have a great week.
Thank you, Jonathan. Great job. We now have the opportunity to present a very special award. And to explain the award, I'm going to call forward Elliot Powell. Elliot is finishing his third consecutive year of service as a board member of this club. He's done that now a couple of times. Elliot joined the club in 1990 and is soon celebrating his 26th year. So, Elliot Powell.
Rotarian of the Year. A wise woman was traveling in the mountains, found a precious stone in a stream. The next day, she met another traveler who was hungry, so she wisely opened her bag to share her food. The hungry traveler saw the precious stone and asked if the woman would give it to him. She did without hesitation. The traveler left rejoicing in his good fortune. He knew the stone was worth enough to give him security for a lifetime. But a few days later, he came back to return the stone to the wise woman. "I've been thinking," he said, "I know how valuable the stone is, but I give it back to you in hopes that you will give me something that is far more precious. Give me what you have within you that enabled you to give the stone to me in the first place." Author unknown. That came on the little pin holder for Rotarian of the Year that my father received. I wear it today in his honor. He received that just days before he passed in 2006. And as I look out into the audience, I see many people who were here today that came out to see him in our home to deliver that precious, precious award to him in his last days. And he turned to me after they left and said, "Son, this is just as valuable to me as the order of the output of Palmetto that he had received just a few days before that." So we have a really special award to present today that we try to present each year to a really standout Rotarian in this club. Service above self is something that this person generally lives for that year, that they're able to achieve this honor. Normally with this board, if we choose the Rotarian within our ranks, we receive feeders from the different committee chairs. We put out requests to just get anybody out there that we may have not uncovered that's working hard for the club behind the scenes. So we did that, we voted, and we really do feel like there was a lot of very quality candidates this year. This year we happened to feel that there was one who really stood out, and he's a relatively new member of our club. It's also a tradition that we'd like to continue to have past year's recipients present the award. So Dot Ryle was to be here today. She received it last year. It was an extremely precious gift for her. Her son, who passed away shortly after her receiving it, was able to be here with her grandchildren and her daughter, and it's one of the most precious gifts she's received, and she even made a comment it was as precious as the Silver Crescent that she received this day as well. So it is a very, very coveted, not coveted, but honorable award. You don't covet this award, you just get it for being a good Rotarian and doing what you love to do. But we do have Carrie Powers here today, who received it the year before. Dot's not able to be here today because she's just ill. She's getting ready to leave to go out of the country at the end of the week, and she just could not push herself to be here today. So Dot can't be here, but Carrie, year before's recipient, is going to present the award.
Good afternoon. So I was absolutely honored to receive the call to come and present this award. I won the award in 2013, 2014, and I think that winning this award, I was completely surprised. I had no idea what it was. But since then, I've learned that it's a pretty big deal, and I feel like it sort of catapulted me to a different level in my career, and it's something that I'm really, really proud of. And when I was interviewing for my job at the Irmo Chamber, it was everybody on, well, most of the people that were on the search committee were fellow Rotarians within our district, and we talked about Rotarian of the Year for about an hour of my interview. So it really is an honor, and so I am truly honored to sit here today and present the award for Rotarian of the Year to Adam Jordan. Up here, because there's some stuff y'all might not know about him that's pretty interesting. I'm not going to roast you, don't worry. We'll do that another time. So Adam he joined our club in 2012, and Bob Crutchfield brought him in. Good job.
His dad helped with that.
Yes. So Adam's dad was a former Rotarian with the St. Andrews Rotary. Yes. And that's where his involvement with Rotary began. This year, he has been our membership chair. And he started the year off by outlining about who we are. He kind of reminded all of us about who we are and what we're here to accomplish. And, you know, he did it in a nice structured format with lots of data and kind of showed us what it was all about. But he encouraged existing club members to reach out, invite guests. We had a goal of the number of guests that we wanted to bring in for the year, and he really pushed us hard with that. He also developed the VIP program. A lot of you have seen the little VIP cards that we've brought in, but what a great way to encourage people to come and have lunch with us. And I've actually stolen that idea and put it into the Irmo Chamber, and it's working really well, so good job on that. He also streamlined the membership approval process. I feel like almost every day we get emails, all of us get emails about new members that are wanting to join the club. And the work that he has done has been absolutely remarkable. We have experienced amazing growth, and currently we're sitting at 18 net new members. Is sitting at 31. So this includes Charleston, Beaufort, Hilton Head, and Myrtle Beach. That is amazing. It's a great job done. I'll give you just a few little tidbits about his background. He is an Irmo boy, so he is a product of the District 5 school district, and for me that's really proud because I think Irmo is pretty great. He had his wife Laura, and he's got his mother, and well, we all know he's got his mother, his father, and his sister here today. And Adam has 2 daughters, yes, and he graduated from Alabama, and we won't hold that against him. I mean, come on. But we also know that he knows how to log into the district database, so that gets you even more points with the rest of us. So, ladies and gentlemen, Adam Jordan, you'll come up to the
Thank you. I'm rarely at a loss for words, but this is the one time my wife's enjoying this moment, I think. I just want to say thanks to everybody who brought members this year. It's through your work that we've increased our numbers so much. I really want to thank my parents, my sister, and my wife Laura for coming here today. And in particular, I want to thank Mark for his leadership on membership. He's the real catalyst behind what we've done. He's been a tremendous support for all that we've done this year as a club, so thanks to him.
Congratulations again, Adam. This was just true honor to work with you this year. We've known each other. Adam and I have been friends since we were like 4 years old, so known him a long time, and he stepped up and did a terrific job with membership. He's been involved in a variety of other ways too at the club, but did a terrific job. We thank you for the work he did and the manner in which he did it. It'd only be fitting that we would induct new members today, and that's the next item on the agenda, so I'll call forward past President Hal Stevenson.
Thank you, Mark. If I could get our new members to come up with their sponsors, please. When I call your name, if you'll step forward, I'll say a few words about you. For those of you that have been around long enough, Lester Bates used to be the past president that always did this, and I think Mark and the board is interviewing all the past presidents for this position to see who can mess it up, and then they get the permanent job. So we'll find out if that's the case today. Scott Campbell, would you step out, please? Scott is the Market Chief and Executive Officer for Providence Health. He lives at 106 Sweet Spire Lane in Elgin, South Carolina. He works at Providence, and let's see, he's got previous Rotary experience at Marco Island Rotary Club from 2011 to 2013. He graduated from Virginia Commonwealth University with a BS in Business Administration and from the Medical College of Virginia as well. He's been in health administrator in Naples, Florida. He was a member of the board of directors of the Naples Chamber of Commerce and the Marco Island Rotary member, as I said earlier. His personal interests and hobbies are his family, church, and some golf. So y'all heard, you golf guys out there, you got another one from the Rotary Fund Golf. His family. His spouse is Gail Campbell. They've been married for 36 years. Congratulations. They have daughters Katie and Cara. And let's see, Karen Blackman and Michael Kapp are their sponsors. Okay. Next we have Brent Skinner. Brent. His wife is Marlo. He lives at 159 Palmetto Hall Drive in Lexington. He is employed by B.P. Skinner Clothiers. He's the owner, which is at 1003 Gervais Street. It's interesting to me, I was president 2 or 3 years ago, and I used to get grief for not wearing a tie, and I swear I think we've got more tieless men here today than tieful men, so we might have to get a little primer on that from you. Yeah, I bet you can. Brent graduated from the University of South Carolina with BS in 1996. He serves with the Greatest Champion group as a board member. He's a member of Radius Church in Lexington and involved with several USC boards and organizations. He likes to play golf, another golfer, yay, and enjoys all Gamecock sports. He has 2 daughters, Emily and Lauren, and his sponsor is you. Are you sponsoring? I can't read your writing. So Robert Goings is his sponsor. Thank you, Brent. Okay, our third new member today is Mark Cruz. Mark is married to Kelly. He lives at 317 Highland Point Drive in Columbia. He is employed by the Palmetto Association for Children and Families. He's the CEO. He's got previous Rotary experience at the Radford, Virginia Rotary Club from 1997 to 2000. He has a Master of Divinity degree from Boston University. That would be in Boston. Hampton-Sydney College, he has a Bachelor of Arts degree from Hampton-Sydney. I'm going to read this because it's nice when somebody types something out, so I know we've got somebody that's organized here. He's a native of Radford, Virginia, located in Blue Ridge Mountains of southwestern Virginia. He moved to Columbia in the fall of 2015 from St. Petersburg, Florida, to join his future wife and beginning their life here together. He's worked in the nonprofit sector for the past 20 years as an executive and as a consultant. Association management is his specialty. Presently serves on the board of the Blue Ridge Institute and is a member of the School Improvement Council at Kelly Middle School. He's interested in helping individuals and communities improve the lives of the less fortunate. When he's not working or spending time with his family, he enjoys, anybody want to take a guess? He enjoys a round of golf, running, and reading. He and his wife, Kelly, met at Blue Ridge Institute in 2014, were married on January 29th, 2016. Congratulations. They have 5 children from their previous marriages. Jonathan, 32, is married to Amanda, and then Natalie, Sydney, Stella, and Robert as well. So, Mark, you really got a lot on your plate. So that's usually the requirement for a Rotarian, is that you do a lot of stuff all the time, and then we just give you more to do, and somehow you get it done. So if you guys would turn around for a moment.
The sponsor is?
I'm sorry, the sponsor is Ann Walker. I'm trying to mess up as much as I can, so I'm trying to get this job permanently. All right. So it's interesting because we had the Rotarian of the Year, and I'll tell you, Adam, you really deserve the award. We've been talking about membership, Rotary's talking about membership all over the world, and it's really one of its primary missions, is to bring new members in now. And there's a new generation coming in, as we all know. So many of you don't know the traditions that we've had around this club. We're going to be celebrating 100 years next year. So you guys joining this club at this time, you joined in a transition. You are all young men. Compared to some folks in here, we need a lot of guidance by the younger generation here. But I think the thing that I would say about Rotary that is the premier thing that you need to remember is that we are all the same, whether we be the president, CEO of a nonprofit or a corporation or anything else, or whether we're men or women, white or black, especially Democrats or Republicans. We come here where we're all on the same ground with an idea of service to the community, and there's very few institutions anymore that really cater to that other than Rotary Club. Even our churches, sometimes we just like to gather with people that are just like us. But we encourage you to sit at different tables, get to know different people in the club, participate in the socials that we have, like golf tournaments, and John Bakis has been trying to get other Rotaries to join us in just a quarterly golf tournament. So there'll be plenty of golf opportunities if you can only find time to do it. We just recently had a fireside chat where past presidents will go through and kind of give you a little more history of the club over the past number of years and what we're focused on. But we encourage you to get involved, get to know people. It'll take some time to get around because at lunchtime you rush in, you eat, you get to meet a few people. So we want to really encourage you to be involved in the social that you're doing next June 21st? 20th. So Robert's our social guy this year anyway. And so we're going to have these celebrations are good. We have a great Christmas party that we put on. These are the things that kind of make us Rotarians, is when we can join together, find our common interest, and get out there and serve. So congratulations to you all.
Welcome, new members. We're excited to have you. It's a great time to be coming into the club. We have an exciting program today, and to introduce our speaker, past President John Durst.
Thank you, President Mark. Good afternoon. It's great to see all of you, Sonny. Good to see you back, very much. It's always a pleasure to have you here. It's very much a pleasure and an honor to introduce our speaker today. Pardon me, I'm a little bit hoarse. I'm so excited, I'm just a little bit hoarse. But she's a Columbia native. She graduated from USC Law School. Her father helped found the Irmo Rotary Club. And I left out what is to many of you a very important element in her background. Just to assure her that she is very much at home. How many of you are Wofford graduates? There you are. So you can see, we call them the Wofford Mafia here, but this should help you feel very much at home because there are a lot of Ontario graduates here today. Catherine is one of the movers and shakers in our state. She has had a very distinguished career in both the public and private sectors. She is doing some legal work for Fortune 500 companies, in addition to what she's going to talk, Fortune 50 companies, in addition to what she's going to be talking to us about today. She defended against the largest UAW workers campaign in recent history before Governor Haley appointed her to be South Carolina's labor secretary. And also, she went forward to serve very honorably and capably as the head of our Department of Health and Environmental Control. Catherine is extremely active around the state, and what she's going to be speaking to us about, she's going to be wearing her hat as a board member of Palmetto Shield, and she's going to tell you about what she and Palmetto Shield are doing to fight unionization in South Carolina. So we're very pleased to have her, and please join me in giving Catherine Templeton a warm Rotary welcome.
So just to calm my nerves, raise your hand if you went to Irmo or Virginia Winger. That's what my whole church family is here. Because I watched Adam when he was much younger than I in church and was a contemporary of my brother at Irmo High School. So when y'all weren't looking, the big sister knew what he was doing, and he's a good kid. Good choice, good award. Congratulations. So when Governor Haley pulled me out of the private sector, we had all just voted in the general election, and one of the questions on the ballot was whether or not unions should be allowed to have a secret ballot. I don't know if you remember that. It was, it was one of the things that half of the people read as they're standing in line. And over 80% of South Carolina voters said that unions were bad, basically. That's how it was interpreted. Here you go. Another Walford grad. So we all kind of were, sleeping securely under the blanket of, well, South Carolina's got the least unionization in the United States. We don't really need to be concerned about unions, and we moved on. Well, here's what you need to understand. How many business owners are in here, small business or large corporation? How many people are in charge of hiring our workforce, or have to train our workforce, or have to supervise our workforce? We went back out and we did a poll last year. We went and did a statewide survey of our workforce and those who are eligible to be part of our workforce. So the people that you're working with every day and those who you're going to hire. And would you believe that almost half of South Carolinians in the workforce approve of unions? It was shocking for us to find that. So of course the next question was why? How are we so far off? Well, if you think about it, in 2010, the stat came from voters. Your whole workforce is not full of voters. In fact, in the last election, I think we were under 40%, maybe 30% participation. So that's just of registered voters. So we were only polling or asking the voters, number one. Number two, with the Obama administration, unions nationally and internationally have taken a great infiltration of cash, even from the federal government. The bailout of the Detroit, the entire city of Detroit. So not only are your tax dollars going to unions, but a lot of private money to unions. Additionally, we're a huge target-rich environment. We're a greenfield. Governor Haley has done an incredible, incredible job with economic development. There's an economic development announcement all the time. So if you're a union, why would you not come here and try to get a hold of those employees as they come in the door? And then finally, healthcare. Healthcare is the one sustainable industry that we know is going to be here forever and ever. And with Obamacare, we know that it's going to grow in subsidies and federal funding. And so if you can unionize a hospital, you've got a dues source forever. So what we have been doing with Palmetto Shield, where we created Palmetto Shield, it is the South Carolina Chamber of Commerce, it is the South Carolina Manufacturers Alliance, it is John Durst, he's one of our board members, the South Carolina Restaurant and Lodging Association, and finally the South Carolina Hospital Association, have all come together and said, we have to make sure that the businesses in this state are aware, are educated, and that their employees and the workforce is aware and educated about the consequences of unionization. Before you get a union in, before you get a contract, it costs 30% more to your bottom line, just in lawyers and consultants and shack charges and OSHA inspections. In fact, in South Carolina, it is now allowed that if a non-employee wants to complain about something that you're doing, whether it's a hospital and it's a joint commission or it's your business and it's an OSHA complaint, they can come in as a non-employee union member and walk around with the government inspector. That's what the National Labor Relations Board has done. Now, Leader McConnell, not Glenn McConnell, who we all respect, but Leader McConnell, the senator, the majority leader in the United States, asked me last year if I would come up and consider being a part of the National Labor Relations Board to try to change some of these rules. I told him there were two things about which I could not be unbiased. I won't tell you what one of them is, but the other one was unions. It is a judicial position. And I also said that I would be Sisyphus. I would be writing for no reason. It is an Obama-controlled court. It used to be, however, when the Republicans were in charge of the National Labor Relations Board or the Democrats, they could write for the Supreme Court. Now, and I don't want to get too much in the weeds here, but now that Antonin Scalia has passed away, if the National Labor Relations Board decides something good for the unions, which they do daily, there is no one at the Supreme Court to break the tie, and so it stands. We just had a 4-4 decision 2 weeks ago. So now, how many hospital or healthcare, how much healthcare industry do we have in here? All right, how many of you on your email at some point in the last month have gotten a notification about a cancer walk or a water missions fundraiser or Boy Scout anything? We always get that, right? We send them out of the distribution list. If you do that in your company, the unions can now use your email center, your email distribution list, your server, and send out, hey, meet me in the lunchroom at 12 o'clock so we can talk about unions. Or just talk about unions on your email server. The death of Antonin Scalia allowed that 2 weeks ago. So we can't get this top down. We don't have protection top down. You have to be aware bottom up. And let me make sure that you understand that this is real. This is not Orwellian. It's real. In Charleston, everybody thinks Boeing's brought in the union. Boeing has less incentive to bring a union in than we do. Boeing wants to keep the unions out because it's leverage, right? They can't negotiate with Washington if they're also unionized here. So it's not Boeing. Boeing's working hard to keep a union out, but because we're even having to have the conversation, MUSC, a state entity, has 2 different unions sitting in their board meetings every month with legitimate posters and picketing that say things like riot. 2 different ones. The unions are competing on who's going to get to them first. They're all over social media. They were picketing, especially during the primary, the presidential primary. John got involved and got to watch and can attest to the fact that the Fight for 15, that is a service industry union worker push. The reason you hear about it now on the national stage is because they were successful in getting your presidential candidates to talk about minimum wage and the Fight for 15. Marlon Kimpson, one of the state senators in the Low Country, introduced a bill this legislative session requiring that every employer in South Carolina raise their minimum wage to $15 within 4 years. It didn't pass this year, but this is happening. Gilda Cobb Hunter introduced a bill to kill right to work. Right to work is why we have the industry we have. And right to work allows you and everybody that works for you to continue to work for you without paying union dues should they be organized. Otherwise, with no right to work, if a union comes in and organizes 3 or 4 of your employees, all the rest of your employees have to pay union dues. You have to administer them, you have to take them out of payroll, you have to deal with them, and then you have to deal with the dichotomy of having one set of employees doing one thing and one doing the other. So this is not something that they're having to deal with in Pennsylvania anymore. It's in South Carolina, and the interesting thing about it is it's not because anyone is angry. It's not because anyone necessarily loves unions. It's because they don't know any better. When we ask people why they don't support a union, they can't answer that question. And when we ask them why they do support a union, they can't answer that question. So it's important for us to educate the workforce, and that's what we're out doing right now, all day long, every day. And we're glad to come speak to your industry. We're glad to come speak to your employer. We're glad to talk to you personally about the different resources. Let me tell you where it's kicked in practically. I got a call, and this is how South Carolina works, right? My parents live in Wild Dunes now, and their neighbor across the street, who really lives in Greenville, but has a client in Westminster, South Carolina, happened to be at a dinner party with me one Saturday. So how many stories can we tell like that in South Carolina? And she said, you know, we got hand-billed on Friday. They got hand-billed on Friday by the International Machinists, And it was not a Boeing contract or nothing to do with Boeing. The union workers or the union organizers were driving up I-26, then taking a left at 85 to go to Atlanta, and they decided to stop at all the office parks on the way. They're hitting Bushy Park, they're hitting all the office parks on the way. We were able, because we knew that, to call everybody on I-85 and on I-26 and office parks and tell them that on Monday, you're probably gonna get hand-billed. And here's what you can do about it. And here's what's legal. And here's what you need to know. Because right now, if somebody walked into your establishment, and they could, where you work, and handed out a handbill, or started talking to people about unionization, would you have any idea even who to call? Or what to do? No. And that's the purpose of Palmetto Shield. It's an education forum. It is to enable y'all to be, I guess, armed with the information you need. There is just an email address. It's palmettoshieldSC.com. If you want any help, it's free. Let us know, send us an email, and we'll be glad to help you. But you need to understand, statistically, actually in Columbia, I've talked about the Low Country. I want a show of hands. All right, I'm going to ask you Low Country, PD, Upstate, Midlands. Raise your hand on the one you think is probably most likely pro-union when you break it down. You got textile companies in the Upstate, a lot of manufacturing, you got Boeing, and you got all the activity in the Low Country. I don't know how to characterize the Midlands and the PD. If you think that the Upstate has the most unionization or the most like of unions, raise your hand. How about PD? Low Country? Midlands? Really? That shocked me. I didn't think the Midlands would have so much. The Midlands have got more than 50% union support. And we've got it broken down every which way. So if you want to look at it to compare it to your workforce, we would be happy to show you that. But African American males between the ages of 18 and 32 in the Midlands are the most pro-union in the state. And they don't know why when you ask them. So we're trying to give them an answer. I was asked to stop and give y'all the opportunity to ask questions. I'll tell you this, I was at a Rotary Club last week, and the questions ranged from, do you think that Antonin Scalia was murdered? It was a serious question. To, would you be Trump's vice president if he called? So you cannot surprise me with anything you want to ask. The floor is open. Oh, you have been waiting, haven't you? Just let her finish talking about this.
What's the average union dues nationally now? Do you even know, or what the number is? Yearly dues?
Yearly dues, I can tell you, no, I can't tell you that. It's in the hundreds. It's under 500. But it depends on industry, and sometimes they do it by paycheck. It's one of those difficult things to know. But the average just union dues per year is around 400 to 500. But there's some industries where it's, 100 a paycheck, but the paycheck's every 22 days or what have you. The thing that, again, that we tested, and for your messaging, the other thing that resonated with the workforce, we are South Carolina and we do not like to be told what to do. And when you tell your employees that your union dues are going to be taken and they're going to do with them what they do with them, you don't get to decide what they do with them. They may give them to a political action committee, they may put them to their plane, whatever it is. We do not like to be told what to do. And we do not like for people to take from us and then do with what they want with our money.
Well, isn't that the selling argument? It's going to cost you this to be a member, and they don't realize that?
Well, what happens is if they don't have that base of why do I not, what's wrong with, or what is it not, how does it hurt me? You've got a one-on-one union drive, a very acute drive where they're saying, I'm going to get you more vacation, I'm going to get you higher pay, your health care costs are going to go down, I'm going to, all the gripes you have, I'm going to fix. They can make those promises. Now, one good statistic for our employees to hear is that after a year, about 75% of those promises don't come true. They don't have a contract. Nationally, that's the average. After 2 years, or ever, only about half of the contracts that are negotiated actually become contracts. So these are the things we have to get to the employees. We have to actually give them a base of truth and the unintended consequences of joining a union so that when somebody is across the table from them promising them individually things, they at least have the right questions to ask. What are you going to do with my money? How much of my money are you going to take? Yes, sir.
What industry in South Carolina is the most unionized?
The most unionized is actually the manufacturing industry, but the targeted industry is healthcare. Again, because healthcare is growing, healthcare is never going away, and if you can go and organize any one of our hospital systems, you've got 4,000 employees that you're collecting an annuity from every paycheck.
My least favorite state and federal agency now is the TSA. Are they unionized? Aren't a lot of federal employees unionized?
Yes, a lot of federal employees are unionized, and there's a myth about state employees, that state employees cannot be unionized, nor can federal employees, and that's just not the case. Actually, the deal is that they just can't strike and save their job. They can still strike, but who's going to go out and hire an entirely different workforce? Yes.
Is this on? Yeah. Everybody think, ma'am, you don't know me, I'm a lawyer here in Columbia. I've been practicing law since 1964. And about 1980, the regulations really became very important that governed the activities of DHEC. So since that time, I've had any number of cases that were mostly adverse to DHEC, although some not entirely. I also had some cases while you were the administrator there. And I will tell you this, and I want my brothers and sisters in Rotary to know this, it's something very important. You were the most well-balanced director that there has been there at DHEC, and I'm sure I've worked with all of them.
Thank you.
You obviously are an advocate here today. You're quite an advocate for the anti-union view. I never found that to be the case though when you were at DHEC. It was always fair, and I felt you took all the issues into account. In particular, for me personally, you don't remember doing this, I'm sure, but I was involved in a matter before the Public Service Commission. My client was faced with a 1,000% increase in his water and sewer rates. He's a fast food operator. 1,000%, I'm not exaggerating. The increase was based on a DHEC regulation that somebody very cleverly had found and was using that as the basis for this rate increase. You wrote a letter.
I remember.
You do remember?
I do remember.
Well,
I was angry. I was angry. It was ridiculous.
Well, let me tell you, in my career, to have the head of one state agency write to the head of another state agency and say they were wrong, never happened. Once in a lifetime. So I commend you for that, ma'am, and I want everybody to know what a good person you are as an administrator. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
You know, it used to be kind of in the old days that when you heard about people unionizing, there was protection from management that they wanted. And it seems like so many of the concerns that I saw that either went union or were thinking about it, it wasn't a union trying to come in, it was a disgruntled employee inside that was going out and trying to bring them in. Is that still?
That's absolutely still the case. In fact, I used to defend some of the hospitals in my real life before I was a bureaucrat. And if somebody had a complaint, depending on what it was, they get a lawyer, they go to the Human Affairs Commission, they go through the grievance process. There was a process. But now with Facebook and all the social media that the unions have actually employed, there's now a forum to make everybody angry. So when Boeing had a petition filed in October, and about every fifth post on the Boeing, let's fuss about Boeing Facebook page, was a nurse or some other healthcare. Oh my, what was that? Okay, we're safe. It was a nurse or some other healthcare worker at MUSC who would have otherwise historically dealt with a lawsuit or something like that. So social media has played a huge part, and the UAW has committed publicly to a great influx of cash into a database that they can use. I don't know how many of you go grocery shopping. I am in charge at my house, and I like the little self-checker out thing because It's not faster, but I feel like I have some control. And so the coupons are spitting out while I'm checking out. How many of you seen the coupons that spit out at the grocery store? Well, if you bought Puffs with aloe 2 weeks ago and Kleenex with aloe this week, you're gonna get a coupon for Harris Teeter brand with aloe, because you're clearly not brand loyal, and you're gonna save $1 and you like aloe. So there's some analytic that goes all around and just reads who I am, right? The union has invested in those analytics. And that is the wave of the future. It's what Obama did to get elected, supposedly. You know, what's manipulating all of us. So they're way ahead. And they are manipulating social media, which is where everyone is. And so, yes, the disgruntled employee has now got a huge microphone to carry forward. Yes, ma'am.
With the gross racial disparities in income earnings and wage earners in our state, if the union conversation is not the right conversation to try to address that problem, what's the right conversation to try to address that problem?
So I think that the union conversation, unfortunately, is more divisive than it is sort of all boats rise on a high tide. Because if you go into a low wage earner, I don't care what, whatever their socioeconomic makeup, and you take a portion of their money, not only have you taken a portion of their money away from disposable income or maybe the necessities, but you also have created a rift where they can't communicate freely and directly with the employers who have got to be successful to continue paying them that money. When I was at DHEC, there were so many programs and initiatives to address all of the different racial disparities in our state, and we're not far enough along. I think we do a good job, but we started from behind. So either way, though, the union conversation is just not the answer. It breaks us all down. Yes, sir.
I'm Sonny White. To answer that question, having been involved in the last 15 years in training and educating people in North and South Carolina, I would answer that question by saying that community and technical college is really kind of hard to answer because at Midlands Technical College, 40% of our students were African American. And so minorities there, if we can give them skills and education to get them into this workforce, I really think that's the answer, not the other way.
I agree. That's a huge component. I agree with that. I had lunch last week with Mary Thornley of Trident Tech, and we talked about that. It absolutely is a very important component to the conversation. I have to stop in 1 minute because y'all have to get out of here at 1:30. Yes, sir. Mr. Derrick.
Mr. Derrick, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
50 years ago, I learned about unions. I got a job working part-time in South Electric Gas Company, and of course, anybody that changes your meter or works electrical or a union.
Right.
And I was painting gas meters. They used to be black, and I would paint them green. And I was up to about 23 meters a day when they called me over and told me that I was breaking the union rules, that you're only supposed to paint 16 meters per day, and I was creating a lot of problems at South Electric Gas Company. So that's why I'm in real estate.
It was just foreshadowing for things to come. You causing problems, right? Right.
Causing problems.
Causing problems. All right, last question. I have to. Mr. Borum, Reverend Borum.
The union says to the worker, we speak for you in terms of wages and benefits. What then do you say to the worker who speaks for you if the union doesn't?
Well, it all starts with respect at the very beginning, and I didn't state the obvious because of the crowd that I'm in front of. Obviously, everybody in here is very respectful of their employees. And so the employees have to feel like they have a voice already. That's the bottom line, is respect. And it's actually what is coming out when we have these union drives. It is what the employees are complaining about. There is no respect here.
Like, what about Scalia and Donald Trump?
I do not think he was murdered, and he has not called me yet.
Thank you, Catherine. Catherine said she can stick around for a few minutes, and so if you want to come say hello to her, she'll be right down here in the front. I'll ask all the new members, the 3 new members that joined our club today, if you'd stand over in this general area. I know that a lot of the members of this club would like to shake your hand and welcome you to Columbia Rotary. So we will sing. Let me remind you all, next week, we're not meeting. It's Memorial Day. Enjoy the holiday. And with that, please stand and we'll sing.